Everybody, I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is going to be about instant gratification, but we have to wait. So if you like that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Before we get started though, I want to welcome you back. If you watch these videos on a weekly basis or listen to them, I love and appreciate you very, very much. And especially, if you've contributed to this channel, whether it be by prayer, whether it be by liking and subscribing or sharing the videos, or some people have actually contributed monetarily, because I am not monetized on this channel. I don't follow algorithms. I just talk about what I see happening and it comes off my head. So anyway, I have to let you know that I'm not a doctor, psychologist, a psychiatrist, a scientist, any of those things. Sometimes I may share what I learned that amazes me along those lines and that I feel that helps me, and I think it might help you too. What I am though is I'm a life coach, and I have a webpage called stacyforlife.com, and on this webpage I write a monthly blog, so I invite you to check that out. But also there's a description of the services that I provide as a life coach. So if you will, just check that out. But let's get into the topic today. Instant gratification, but we have to wait. Like with all things, it has its good and its bad sides. And what we have learned with the pandemic is that we just had excess and access all the time. Just everything just come to us right then. We could see a commercial and it tell us we needed something and we could order it just right then. But what we're finding now, and probably some things are still that way, but what we're finding in a lot of ways is that some things are taking a lot longer than they used to. So it really brings to our awareness how much and how used to we were about getting things instantly, which really put us into debt. If we don't have instant gratification, we get to look at other things. We get to look at lack, because the reason we buy it right now is because we've been programmed and told that get it now while supplies last, and so that's why we do that oftentimes. But we find when we don't bump into instant gratification, maybe we're in less debt. And maybe we have fuller, relationships, because we're not passing and going through stuff to the next best thing, like we've been programmed to do. So that's where we're at. So I think that what we can do is look at lack. I myself am reevaluating lack right now. Lack far as money, lack far as relationships go. Where do I feel like I'm lacking? And then making the right and proper adjustments and adaptations to where I might be lacking. Because oftentimes when we feel like we're lacking in one area and we put the focus on the one area, all the other areas aren't maintained or healthy, so they all go downhill. However, if we put value in certain areas, then it seems like all other areas lift up. What I'm talking about is mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. This is what I talk about when I talk about getting into alignment. So the instant gratification, I know in coaching and working with people, one of the biggest things is to buy or not to buy stuff. This is for myself too, because I can't help others unless I've had experience myself. And also in relationships, it's oftentimes when we get into relationships that we're waiting for that text, we're waiting for that phone call. And then also when we get out of relationships, we're waiting on that text, we're waiting on that phone call. So instant gratification, the opposite of instant gratification is waiting, right? And waiting has had a bad connotation to it. It's funny because when I was younger, we used to love to walk everywhere. And the one thing you want to do if you can't do it is walk. But I've heard people say, we had to walk. And it's like, 2 blocks? I try to get people out to walk oftentimes in my coaching sessions, because sometimes without that walking, we forget the childlike spirit within. That time was, seemed like a long time when you had to, wait 30 minutes to get to Grandma and Grandpa's house and things like this. So as we get older, it seems like time's speeding up, so it's just about our perspectives at the time and the maturity that we're at. So being able to wait allows us to develop more meaning to being able to wait, more esteem to being able to wait. So there are gifts in the waiting, if we look at it. So it's about developing those thoughts and perspectives to be an acceptance of what is. Because if you have to wait, it's cool when you look at the different countries and different origins. Down here in Mexico, people are accustomed to waiting. You wait a long time. In America, things come like this. But in Mexico, you wait. But people are nice to each other. They're contemplative. There's, there may be a few people that get all iffy, but they're not trying to get a committee. Like, say, if you're in a post office line. And we have post office lines here, too. And, we wait outside sometimes. And it can be hot out there. But you find a tree and you just notice the little things, So when we wait, we can notice a lot more. How many times have we done instant gratification and not appreciated what we've gotten? So this, of course, there's the value of waiting once again, is being able to appreciate what we've gotten. I have the privilege of working with people and, in dating even. And that's another field. People were isolated and didn't get to date and didn't get to do relationships. But now in hindsight, in retrospect, people are able to do relationships differently. And I get to work with people in new relationships to where it's like, don't text. Were you the last one to text? How long ago was it? And all of this, because we have to grow and nurture things. That's the waiting. You don't put a seed in the ground and it pop up the next day. It's like when I was a kid, we used to buy these little sea monster things and wait forever for them to grow into little sea monsters, and they never did. I never saw one of those sea monsters. So anyway, it's just learning to have fun with these little things in the waiting, which we have lost, hindsight of. Except we're learning again how to wait and how to appreciate when we wait. So how we learn to wait is through practice and development, and it's really cool getting to watch and work with people in this practice and development phase. They're like, no, I'm not going to text. They're like, no, I'm not going to do, purchase this right now. I'm not going to do this just right now. And they wait. And then the excitement when what they want comes to fruition, and what this allows us is to develop these muscles. I talk about trust muscles. We have to learn to allow trust muscles. And with this, when we wait, some of us are praying people when we're waiting. They say praying in the hallway or waiting in the hallway. So, that's waiting too, because miracles aren't like instant gratification. We have to wait on miracles, So this is the thing, is that, when we get into the prayer and having faith, like when I'm praying, the first candle is I pray for magic and grace, because there's character to be built in a waiting process. So there's grace, a lot of times there's a grace period, and, when things can run out. So there's grace in a period. It's amazing when we start really looking at the words instead of cursing words, embracing words. So when we begin to want something, sometimes we want it to magically appear, whether it's a material thing, whether it's a relationship or what have you. But what we learn is when we don't wait and we get things instantly, they dissolve instantly. Like the relationships and the things that we just buy real fast. The satisfaction with it doesn't last. So, when we wait, we're developing these muscles, and I have the one candle. So that's grace, and that's the magic. But then the next candle in my prayer time is, and I'm not saying everybody prays, but I like to make my prayers magical and mysterious, and miraculous. So the second, practice that I have, once I know when I've submitted the magic of the prayer, sorry about that noise, when I have submitted the magic of the prayer, and then, and accepting the grace, asking for the grace to go forward with it, then the next one is to have peace and patience through the mystery, because where we put our energy, having a big unlimited, not in a box type of faith, is that you don't know how you're going to receive back, and it could be even better than you could have asked for. And this is also involving giving up lack, because it's only a lack mentality that says, I just want this, if I could just have this, if I could just have this. Because I was taught in one of the churches that I went to is ask, pray for this or something better, So we pray for peace and we pray for patience and know that there's a mystery involved. Some people may say it's through the ethers, because prayer isn't necessarily religious, but it's not necessarily not religious. It's how your consciousness contacts with the supremacy, of the being, the all, the source, God, whoever you perceive that to be. And I'm not telling people how to believe. I'm just giving you some ideas on how we can manifest, because that's the next candle. Because through the power of the powers that be, which I believe is the power in me, I believe that God of my understanding has planted this seed in me, these talents and these gifts to use as I will, and that all things will come into alignment still. So there's the power that manifests of miracles. So I ask for that power. So I realize that there is a process to this, that through grace, I'll receive some magic, that I believe in magic, And through peace and patience, I know that the mystery of manifestation comes through the power of the miracles, and that is development. So it's that practice and development. So I hope that this trichetta, triangle, whatever it is, has helped you to understand that we can have instant gratification, but we have to wait. Because what happens oftentimes is when we go through the practice and development, the prayer and the faith, that when things come, they come, bam, and it's like, whoa! And it's like, like a magnificent surprise, and it's so meaningful to us then, rather than if we're sitting here looking at our clock saying, well, it said they were going to ship it in 2 days, and they've got 45 minutes, or whatever, so it's being able to chill out and not come from that place of lack, knowing that what we want comes at the right and the divine time, that through this practice and development, that if we're having to wait a little bit, then it's going to be that much sweeter, and getting into acceptance of that, rather than if we get it instantly, we're going to find instant problems with it. We're going to find instant, because that's the kind of energy we're extending, is it's like, okay, it instantly has to do this, everything instantly. This is what makes people impatient, hateful. So I hope that coming into this season, that this video will be helpful, as we do have people who are probably going to wait even longer than they had to wait before. I've seen it myself, and I remember when kids were little, and these Elmo things and all these different toys people would get on lists for, get on lists for iPhones, get on lists for this, and people just hated to wait. At the same time, it was fun. I would watch people wait. But at the same time, once the kids got the Elmos, maybe they liked the box better. So it's where are you going to put your energy? So through the practice and development, we gain esteem. What else can we gain? Put it in the comments below. But esteem is one thing, because it feels good to accomplish something. Whether you're accomplishing a purchase, whether or not you got surprised on a date, is that sometimes when we have to wait, people listen to us longer, rather than, and so they know what our wants and our needs and our desires are before we jump into something and then have to jump out because we didn't teach people to listen to us. So it's all about How are we going to show up? What is it that we really want? And being willing to wait for it and practice and develop that. I've got a few notes before we close this video. Okay, and so, you know, if you have a problem with the concept of God, you know, I oftentimes hear people say love and light, and that's really what God is. God is love. And so through this, you can develop love, whether you're getting love for a material thing or what have you, you know, because this is the thing, is that how it will come requires doing the next right thing with the right intention and not manipulation, you see, because so many people manipulate what they want. You can't manipulate miracles. You just can't, and the power thereof. They are to be manifested with the power of love. And God is love and light. So some people may perceive God as just love. You know, oftentimes I've quoted before a verse, you know, that they substituted the word love for the word God, you know, and also light. You know, for me, God is the sun and God is the moon, you know, and so I think that that's everything is a part of this, the all, the source. Because it all, once we realize how we all work together and we get out of our arrogance of humanity and realizing that everything is divinely and rightly designed, we can be in aligned and know that everything's happening for our highest and best good and that waiting is okay. So instant gratification seems the easy way and development the hard way. It's how much time we spend in developing makes the longevity. I have learned what I get instantly leaves instantly, and what I practice and develop becomes a part of me and my soul, and it stays. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you, and that you will be able to practice and develop patience too, and that, you know, just remember that we get to have grace, believing in magic, you know, being like childlike once again, you know. And then we, you know, when as children, when we waited, we found ways to entertain ourselves. We waited, what is it, are we there yet and stuff, but in between we could find stuff, and we used to tell those children to find stuff to entertain yourself, find stuff to entertain ourselves, and know that if we've asked for something, that if it be in right and divine alignment with whatever character we're building. See, I just watched a video with Mel Robbins that talks about how the biggest problem with visualization is that people always talk about the end picture, but they aren't visualizing, you know, that if you're running a race, the sweat, the rain that might fall on you, the other things that may happen along there. People just want to go from this to this without the practice and development in between. So I really related to that video because I totally understand that these days, is that, you know, if we get instant fame like that, then we're going to be like a deer in the headlights talking about, well, how did you do this? Well, what made you come up with this? You know, because most of the people who have created something failed while they were creating. They practiced and developed, because nobody would practice and develop more if they got it the first time. Some people are fortunate enough to get it the first time, I suppose, but yeah, I like developing character, and I hope that you do too, and I hope that this video, like I said, has been helpful. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I could offer you. You know, I just hope that in these prayers, you know, that you're able to say, you know, look, I want the grace, and I believe in the magic of what I'm asking for. I have peace. I will have peace, and I have to have patience to have peace, because I know that I believe in magic and the mysteries. I don't know how it's going to come about, but if I'm in alignment and just keep doing the next right thing that is exciting and holding that energy to my goals, instead of saying it's not going to happen, instead saying it's a mystery of how, when, and where, you know, and then I can have that power of the miracles, and when it comes, I'll even want to share because how I did that, because it's not easy to do that, and that's how we develop heroes, is through them telling us how they did it, like Mel Robbins. So I thank you very much for watching the video today. I hope that you'll feed positive algorithms like Mel Robbins and others who tell you and instruct you how you too can achieve and live a better life. Okay, because that's what it's all about, is our quality right now. And so waiting, sometimes you get a better quality. So I wish you much peace and love. And I hope that we can all go in with harmony. How are we going to develop harmony? What does that look like? You know, and so if you have any ideas of a video for next time, please feel free to either email me at stacyreinick@gmail.com, or there's stacyrenee4life@gmail.com. Or there, you know, you can contact me on Facebook at Stacy Renee, or Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life, or on Instagram, Stacy_Renee4Life. I just appreciate you, and I love you, and I thank you for your time, because you are valuable and so is your time. So I'll see you again next week. Bye. Wish you much peace and love, and see you again next week.